on here with our Kim 10 speakers. Today, you're going to hear from another wonderful woman who has gone through the Radiance Speaker Academy and on to the certification to become a Kim 10 speaker. Stay tuned. Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited to introduce you to an amazing woman that I have gotten to know more intimately in the last month here as we have been a part of an adventure and launching something. And she was one of the women who got their first certification in this new Kim 10 experience. So before we get into that, though, I want to introduce Stephanie Bundrock, who is the CEO of My Children's Heroes. And Stephanie, you and I are going to have a conversation today about your experience going through the speaker training as well as the Kim 10 certification. But before we get into that, share with us a little bit about who you are, what you do in the world, so people have a little bit of a window into your life.
What an honor. Thank you so much. And it has been so amazing meeting you, Lisa, and all the other coaches and everything. And we'll talk about all of that. But yes, so I am the CEO of My Children's Heroes. It is an incredible journey of 20 years. And I created scripture sheets, bed sheets for kids that have scripture heroes on them, because I feel like it is so important for our kids to have real, true heroes. And Spider-Man doesn't talk about Jesus. So we need something better for our children, and especially in this world. And so I've been a stay-at-home mom for my whole entire life. I'm still a stay-at-home mom. But I've always had this entrepreneurial blood that runs through my veins. And I'm just so excited to create whatever whatever God calls me to do. And part of that was the Speaker Academy. So you can just go ahead and
jump right into that. Yes. So tell me, what was it, first of all, that prompted you to take the speaker training inside the Girl Power Alliance, the Radiance Speaker Academy, which is a 9-week training, and then onto the certification? What was it that was going on with you in terms of speaking? What were you struggling with, and what were you hoping to get out of that?
Okay. Well, first of all, not very many people know this story, actually. You don't even know this story. So what prompted me to take the Speaker Academy was years ago, there's this thing, it's called Time Out for Women. And it is kind of a huge, huge conference that my church puts on, but it's not just for members of our church, it's for women everywhere. And they actually wanted to get outside of the mainstream, like they wanted to get into different states and stuff, and bring like just this gospel concept and having women come together, just kind of like we did it at RLA, at the yeah. And just have women come together and just have a time to just breathe and listen to incredible speakers and just be uplifted, and so that you can fill your cup and then take that home to your family. So I've been going to those for years. I love them. And there was one time in particular that I was like, I'm going to be on that stage. And I don't even know, like, this is back when I was a mom. I didn't even know what the heck I was doing. I was scrubbing toilets. I was just like, and like God told me what I was supposed to do. And I knew I was going to be on that stage someday. This was probably like, I don't know, 18 years ago or something.
Wow.
And I was in the thick of motherhood and feeling really just like, gosh, there is a purpose and I don't know what it is, and don't get me wrong, I love my kids and I love raising them, but I also felt like it was not just my purpose to raise them. It like there's something else in me that I need to help get out. And so when I saw the Speaker Academy, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I was like, this is it. This is my ticket. When I found out that there was like, a professional recording, because I don't know the people that I am going to send this to. I don't know who they are. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be like, "Hey, guess what I did?"
So good. I love how you said that about how you know, this God dropped this into your spirit. I'm going to be on that stage. And I think that is something true for many, many women is years prior, there's been this seed that's been planted in them in terms of whether it be stepping onto a stage or stepping into a new arena, which seems so big. And so, God, how's that going to happen? But yet it begins to grow inside of you, right?
Yes, it's like that seed that is planted and it just grows and grows and grows, and you don't even I don't think sometimes you even realize, like, how much it is growing.
Yeah.
You just all of a sudden find yourself going, "I need to speak. I need to
Yes.
tell everybody. I need to, like," at least that's how I am. I'm very much an extrovert,
Yeah.
and I don't have any problem, well, I say I don't have any problem, but when you learn really fast, there's a skill that develops there. But still, like, when I'm speaking from my heart, like, that's when I just know that I'm being congruent with what I'm supposed to be doing in this world.
Mhm. It's
It
so good.
feels right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is true. Like when you talk about talking as an extrovert, like I'm actually an introvert by nature.
We'll never
That means I and I've just learned how to be in both, but my energy comes from being alone and being with the Lord and being by myself. But for extroverts, that kind of being with people really gives you energy, right? So one of the things that I think is really important to say here in terms of when you were talking about, like to talk, I think a lot of women like to talk, but one of the challenges in the speaker training that you had was to condense your message into this 10-minute framework.
Yeah, that was difficult. That was cramming 20 years of experiences into 10 minutes. Like, I was like, "How am I supposed to do this?" But
Yeah.
you learn, you do it.
You do, and it is actually a really powerful skill to learn because we live in a soundbite world where a lot of times people just scroll through things and just the first few seconds or minutes is what's captured their attention. So helping women to be able to make messages or their become clear and concise in their messaging is such a powerful skill. And so I'm so excited that you stepped into that and walked through that discomfort to come out on the other side as a certified Kim 10 speaker. So tell me a little bit about what did you learn in that experience? What are some takeaways for you? Maybe one or two in terms of speaking even.
In terms of, okay, well, I learned it's harder than you think it is. Sometimes you're just like, "Oh, I can get up and speak that way," but oh gosh, yeah, precision speaking, and it's a lot harder than you think it is. But it was so exhilarating. Like, it was, the whole process. Um, it's funny because you think that you have like this perfectly crafted message and you're just out there and you're giving it, and I did have a really hard time. Like, I listened to the feedback, and I think the hardest thing for me was I was like, "Well, I've already, like, written this by, God has, like, given me the words and everything to write to speak." And so when I got the feedback, I was like, "I don't even know how I'm gonna change this. Like, it's already in my brain this way. I don't know how I'm gonna change this." Um, but you know what happened to me? I got a really, really bad headache. I had a migraine for 72 hours. And what happened to me, I start that at the beginning of this really bad headache, at 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, and it was like I went through my Kim 10 because I probably went to bed at like 10 after finally getting it in my head that I'm like, "I don't know how this is gonna go, Heavenly Father, you're just gonna have to help me." And so I took your advice and I took everybody's advice, and I was like, "How, like, help me just incorporate it." And
Yeah.
so that's what I did. And then at 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up with this horrible headache, but I also went through my entire Kim 10 the way that I felt God wanted me to deliver it. And whoa, he just did things that I was like not expecting.
So cool.
So it was, I felt like he gave me all these new words and so much power. I felt like if you would have called me right then and there to deliver that message, I would have been like, yes, let's do it now. I don't care if I'm in now.
I don't care if I'm being video recorded. My hair is all over the place.
I was so fired up. I was like, that's it. I got it. I got the power. I feel
Oh,
it.
good.
And so that's what carried me through because by
Mhm.
7 o'clock in the morning, I was throwing up and I was supposed to deliver that message in 2 hours. And I was like, and I just kept like pulling into that power that God had given me and those words. And some of those came out in my speech. And that's when I got a little like teary eyed and stuff because I felt that. I felt that spirit confirm me that that's what I was supposed to say.
That's so good. So what was it like for you? You talked a little bit about it right there, because when we after that 9 weeks, then you go through the 2-day in person where you do a test run of your message, you get the feedback from coaches, and then you do your recording your final version onto recording. So what if you looking back now on the other side of that, tell me a little bit about that journey that you had in those 2 days and what outcome you're taking away from that.
Well, it was intense. I will say that. Like a good intense. Like it stretched me. It stretched me to my next level.
Hmm.
I think it built my capacity of
Cool.
really understanding what I can do and
Mm.
what I am made for and
Mhm.
what like yeah, it did. It built that commitment, that conviction, that capacity for me
Mm.
to do something so not like all my other friends are doing. I put a tiny snippet on like my just on my because we don't have the things back yet, but I put a tiny snippet on and people were like, "Holy cow!" Like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that!" And like all this stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, I know, me neither."
So good. So cool.
And like I've done it once, I can do it again, and that's kind of my motto. Like I've done it once, I can do it again. Now
That's so good.
just give me a
I
bigger
love you what? Say that again?
just give me a bigger stage and a bigger stage and a bigger stage.
Exactly, exactly. You're only going up from here. That's
Yeah.
so good, Stephanie. I love how you said that. It just feels so empowering. And I noticed in watching you, even from day 1 to day 2, you could see that you were owning it. You were owning it. You were becoming, this is who I am, and this is where I'm meant to be. And that confidence that you spoke about with, just getting that download from the Lord and just that stamp of approval from Him. It's so beautiful to see that transformation that happens when you actually step into it and say, well, okay, yeah, this is my message, and
Yeah.
this is where I'm meant to be. And I loved, well, I'm not going to give it away because when you get your professional version done, you can broadcast it out to the world. But
Excited.
I love the prop that you had, and I think it's going to be so powerful, the signature along with your business and your message. And thank you for your willingness to walk through that process, be coachable, and to allow yourself to be stretched to be who God has called you to be as a speaker. I love seeing that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you guys did an incredible job of coaching us. Um, it was it was a struggle for sure. That's a
Sugar?
Scottish term. Yes, that's a Scottish term.
What does that mean?
When you are standing in water and you just you like wiggle your toes and it kind of gets murky and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. This is like way too much sometimes, and you feel like
Yes.
you don't know how God is trying to use you or whatever, but you're just in the middle of it all. That struggle. And so that's where I feel like that's what it was. It was like, especially after you get your feedback and you're going, how's this going to work? I don't even know how this is going to work. But God brings it in full circle. He makes it happen. And he's like, I'll show you. I'll show you how this is going to work. And we're like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So
And then
good.
it always turns out better than you think it will, right?
That is
I
so
say
good.
all the time, God will give you what you want or something better. And
Yeah.
so I feel like I got something better, like even better than I had before. So
Wow. Wow, that's so good. So if someone was listening to you today and were sitting on the fence about joining the Radiant Speaker Academy, the 9-week training and then the certification program, what would you say to them?
I would just say give yourself a chance. Go for it. Just you don't know what you can do, you know?
Mhm.
It's a stretch. It is a
Yeah.
stretch. I think it's a stretch for every single person that goes in there. Even if I mean, I can't speak to for other people's experience, but I know from my experience, it was a big stretch. There was a point where I wanted to back out. Even before I was like, I don't know. But you know what? I had invested in myself so much. My husband, this is another thing y'all probably don't know, but I was telling my husband, and you gotta understand. I mean, I just launched a business. I've spent over $100,000 on launching my business. Like I've spent a lot of money, and my husband, bless his heart. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm not necessarily bringing in an income yet. And so I didn't even want to ask my husband about it, but I told him about it one time. He asked me like what I was doing, and I was like, "Well, there's this certification, this speaker certification," and he didn't. We didn't really talk about it after that. And he came back to me. He's like, "You need to do this."
Wow.
I was like, "Really?" I'm gonna cry. He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, no, you need to do this. I feel like you need to do this." And I was like, "Okay, okay, yeah."
So good.
It's true. Like I knew I
Mhm.
needed to, but I didn't know how I was gonna bring it up to him, you know?
Wow.
But
That's so good.
he
He
knew, and
Yeah.
he supported me and like all of that. He said, "Go for it." So I wasn't about to let him down. I wasn't about to let myself down. I was just like, "Hey, girl, you're getting off that stage, whether you like it or not."
And would you do it over again if you
Yeah,
had
yeah, it was amazing. It was so amazing. It really
Awesome. That's so good. So, Stephanie, if people wanted to find out more about your business, where to find you, where can they go?
go to. Well, I love to connect with people. So send me a message on Facebook, send me a message on Instagram. My Instagram handle is My Children's Heroes.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie, for sharing your
Woo!
journey. And I can't wait to see you on the big stages. I can't wait to see you
I
both
know.
online and in person. I can't wait because I know that the message you have is very powerful. And I know that you're only just started.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
As you're listening today, you may have felt prompted to say, hey, I want to take that course. I want to become a much better speaker. I want to be able to speak with confidence, clarity, and transformational impact. If you're interested in learning more about how to become a certified Kim 10 speaker and get a part of the movement to get on Kim 10 stages, or just to up-level your skills as a speaker, then I want to invite you to check out the link in the comments below, wherever you're listening to this, and we'll send you information when the next round is open up. In the meantime, your voice is an instrument of transformation and needs to be heard, so let it be heard.